Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all again here for the GOBA Blueprint Show. My name is Chastity Vega. I'm the CEO of the Greater Orlando Builders Association, and we have yet another fabulous speaker and topic for you today. I feel as if I have hit a home run out of the park with today's speaker. So please help me welcome my 2023 president. You know him, I know him well, Mr. Thaddeus Lynch. Thad, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Chastity.
Oh, you're so serious already, I can tell.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Let's talk about it. So, you know, this Blueprint show that was started is really just a lot of insight into the construction industry, what different perspectives, what people are seeing. We need to know those details. Our GOBA membership has to know, and so we want to bring this level of value to them. And so that's exactly why you're here today. You have a long history of being in the construction industry, primarily home building. So tell me a little bit about your background, how long you've been doing this, and in construction, home building, and leading into what we're going to talk about next.
So I've been in the home building industry for 20 years. On the builder side, I've worked in the construction side, the purchasing side, operations side, and have spent the last 3.5, 4 years as a division president for 2 startup home builders. I've recently made a transition, not that type, to the trade partner side. I'm now a partner with a large roofing company that covers the state of Florida, known as Hugh Macdonald Construction, and we are forming another company, Greater Orlando Roofing, to service exclusively the Central Florida market. Long track record on the grind with the home builders, fighting that battle, and now on the other side trying to help them out as best I can on the roofing.
So I think that's exactly why it was really important to have you here today. Number one, you've been somebody that I look to at all the meetings to see your thought process. You're really even keel, you're incredibly intelligent, and I value all of the things that you say primarily when it comes to home building. So with that, you were once on the builder side, division president, long history of being on the builder construction side and building some pretty significant communities here in Central Florida. You've taken on this new role of being now on the opposite side, the trade side. So tell me, what does that mean to you? What are the new things that you're seeing on the opposite side in regards to the industry, the local economy of the trade side, and what you're seeing?
It's the same goal as the home builders, but on a more micro level, right? Every day I'm focused on, our labor, our supply chain, how we're moving supplies, our logistics, how we're following up with it. So, I kind of used to seeing the whole house in communities in divisions, and planning that way, and now I'm refining down to just a specific area, which is the roofing side, and just deep diving as best I can into understanding all of those components, and how to best utilize them so that we can continue the home building process. How to make sure we're there on time, in line cost wise, and doing a quality job and a safe job. All things that are absolutely essential in the home building industry, and not always always emphasized as needed.
So you touched on 2 different things that I actually want to go into a little bit more detail in. One, again, we will continually speak on it, is labor, workforce, skilled trades. You're now in roofing. What does labor mean to you, and what are some of the things that you're seeing out there in regards to labor?
The labor market is an interesting one. I think for certain skilled trades, there is a concern of aging out. Roofing is not the most desirable trade to join in the state of Florida. It's hard to get people on roofs, particularly as you get into these hotter months, which is about 9 months a year. So that is always a challenge. Something that our company does do is we hire all our labor. We're all in-house. They're all our employees. So we're not necessarily chasing a sub base. I know that with the sub base, it can be somewhat, they can tend to move a little bit more. They can be in town, 1 year and be gone the next. And so for us, ours is, our objective is controlling the labor as best we can, and then trying to find solutions to continue to replenish the labor as labor force gets older. Things that we've done in GOBA to try to address that. Have been well documented, well noted, and I've been a part of that workforce labor committee and other objectives, some of the schools that we've worked with. But like I said, from the roofing side, that's a hard sell, particularly to someone who's got other options on the on labor. But it does pay well. It's a hard job, but obtaining skilled labor at this trade is imperative.
And I think that's one of the things that we continually speak about is the career paths, right? While it may be hard today, right, but it's going to be worth it, right? Absolutely. And so you're in the heat of Central Florida. We know what that's like, but we also tell the story on the career path. While you're putting the sweat equity into it now, there's a reward at the end. You can start managing your own crew. You can start having your own, subcontracting of roofers to put, to work with the different builders. So there's a lot of, yes, hard work, but at the end, the results and the career paths can be so rewarding.
I agree wholeheartedly. To that statement, just in home building in general, whether it's roofing or mechanical or electrical or framing, they're not the easiest jobs, but they can be rewarding. They can lead into other greater ventures. When we see guys elevate to crew leaders, we see guys start their own companies and then merge in with larger companies. So the reward is there. The career paths are there, and they're well documented, and they can be displayed. So it's always interesting to see a young person who's not sure what to do with their career, and they don't want to go into this avenue because it may not make enough money, or this one may not interest you. As far as home building goes, it's exciting, it's fast paced, it can be monetarily rewarding, and it's ever changing and evolving. And so, if you're looking, as far as challenges go, as far as monetary rewards go, and as far as growth goes, it's available within the home building industry, particularly on the trade side.
And I think one of the greatest things is really the feeling of seeing a completed home, a completed community, and to say, I built that. That's where love is found. That's where memories are found. All the families that bring joy into that household. I don't think there's a greater feeling. I love driving around knowing that I know the individuals who built these homes.
Have I recruited you at a job fair before? Because that's my sales pitch. That is, that's the tangible aspect to it is what brought me into home building. I wasn't a construction major. I was a business major, and happened to stumble into some guys on the home building side as I was completing college, and I fell in love with the tangible part. I remember every community, every house I've been a part of building. I've taken my family, my children to grand openings, to parade of homes. To communities that we've built, and every time we drive by one, I can say, hey, I was a part of that. And so that tangible aspect, it's a lot more than kind of sitting in a cube and just jamming numbers all day. There's a visible, tangible feel to it that you can really feel pride in.
I agree. And so let's go back to the other point of, I think some people would be very interested. A couple years back, we had a supply chain issue. It was the word of the year, supply chain, supply chain, supply chain. We know currently transformers are an issue, right? So now on the trade side, where do you see the supply chain? Are we really back to normal? Have the prices leveled off? What is that looking, especially now that you're on the roofing side?
Well, even pre-COVID, we were battling with supply chain issues. We had shipping issues. I first heard about COVID as a vice president of purchasing for a national builder because I couldn't get parts and pieces out of China and Italy, and I hadn't even seen anything about COVID. Maybe I'd seen something mentioned about COVID on the news, but it hadn't quite hit home yet. And all of a sudden, it was interrupting sort of my daily business. And so we've battled through all that. And I would say, as far as availability, there is some normalization, at least in terms of lead times and access to products. I also think the industry has adjusted and has been more flexible in finding alternative solutions. Whereas prior, I think there's a little less flexibility, it's a little bit more rigid in terms of making product substitutions when needed. So I think from an availability standpoint, it's gotten better. I don't think there's going to be a normal as far as pre-COVID, lumber tariffs, shipping container issues. I think that normal will be whatever it is now, right? And so I think there's still a lot of pressure on pricing, whether it's real or perceived or opportunistic. And so that's something, now sort of in the middle of home builder and manufacturer is something that I've got to battle daily, trying to keep the price of the goods and materials that we've got to use to install and finish our products within reason for the home buyer. I know there's still a lot of pressure on the sales prices,
right,
particularly for the first time home buyer, for that first move up buyer, not necessarily for the people coming from out of state, migrating from out of state, but for the the people that are graduating college here, the people that are the young families trying to buy their first home here, the nurse, the police officer, the firefighter, and so I think there's a lot of effort to try to keep prices, trying to keep a lid on it, and from my perspective, I'm just kind of fighting at a different angle now. I'd say sort of sandwiched in the middle, whereas I was pushing from the home builder side prior.
Right. And so, those are the things that really, as the Greater Atlanta Builders Association, that we always want to keep intact and keep an eye on. Obviously a lot of the issues that we're seeing or what's going to be coming, what's going to be that next, issue coming. So it's good to hear your perspective on the supply chain. So I'm going to ask you for a minute to wear your builder hat again. If you had to identify 3 challenges right now, current conditions, for builders, what would that be?
Well, the first one's going to be price, right? Land prices are up, material prices are up, labor prices are up, and all that spits out to your final sales price. Once you add your overhead and your whatever acceptable margin you're willing to take. So price is a constant battle. I think that's what's keeping up a lot of home builders right now, trying to maintain pricing, trying to be competitive with pricing, trying to lure those buyers who are still a little trepid from interest rates, trying to lure those buyers across the line and get them into their first homes, or get their family into their first homes. So there is that. I know that home builders are coming up with programs to buy down interest rates to make that a little bit more appealing. At the same token, we also got to keep that sales price down. From my perspective, things that I focus on today as a trade partner is, what can I buy in quantity? What can I pay immediately off, and as opposed to financing, get a 2% discount? Can I get a better rate if I'm buying truckloads? So I'm shipping in materials by the truckloads daily. We're manufacturing some of our own materials. We've brought in machinery from Germany so we can manufacture our own metals, keep those costs a little bit more under control. So we're hyper focused on that as well, and trying to serve a better, more valuable, a more competitive product for our home builders. Home builders also, I believe, and I know I was, we're struggling just to get land online.
Right.
Land that they've got, monetary commitments to, and they're tied up in, and is taking a long time to either entitle, to get approved, to start development, to complete development. And those communities, these new communities and these new land positions just aren't coming online fast enough for a lot of builders. And those communities are factored into their goals, their market positions, and ultimately a way to better serve the community as far as, just where we're going to be located, where we're going to be positioned. And so the delays in that, create additional strain on home builders.
Well, and to that point, what we do know and continues to happen is the migration into Central Florida and Florida itself. Still remains such an incredible place to live and work. And so with that, if you slow down those processes, if the land is taking so long to develop, those communities 1 year, 2 year, 3 years down the road aren't going to be developed. And are we hitting into another supply demand issue? So I think being responsible builders, I think we learned that in the Great Recession, right? Mm-hmm. And I think one of the unique perspectives from GOBA, and I know you did this with us and your entire presidency, is really leveraging that, the building departments and the government side and that excessive regulation and saying we just have to do better. We have to provide, faster processes, more seamless processes, things that are streamlined, so we can get these homes built in a more efficient way, to bring them up for sale. So that way everybody has an opportunity at home ownership.
Without getting into the political side, there are some challenges with municipalities there, and from a GOBA perspective, those challenges are known. We communicate with them. We meet with them. We meet with the municipalities. We've sat on numerous calls, bring them into our great hall. We have these discussions. Joint building committees. We do different things. And in a way, I empathize somewhat with the struggles that they have. Typically just not enough staff to move what the input is, out, right? And so, and then turnover with staffs, and you've seen a lot of these different challenges, and then some of it's just maybe just agenda, right, or priority, and so that's something that we'll continue to do, and I believe we've had great success in building those bridges with many of the municipalities and helping them help us. And we'll continue to do that. But that definitely plays a part in it. And we'll continue to be a challenge. But that's why we're here, and that's one of the great things we do here, and build it. And they know they have us here to have those talks.
Right. It's just that open line of communication. We're the subject matter experts, into the entire build process, so allow us an opportunity to continue that dialogue. And you brought up a really good point on that's exactly why we're here, and that's exactly why the Greater Orlando Builders Association is here. And you were president last year. You're serving in your role as immediate past president. Still have duties to complete. Yeah. So what has GOBA meant to you, in your many years of just being active, but being president of the organization and continuing to serve, what has GOBA brought for you?
Well, I'll answer that, but I also just want to piggyback on what we were talking about. An approach I've taken in, the vast majority of my career is is really just clearing a runway, for whatever objective needs to be there, making sure the right tools are in the right people's hands, and they have the right objective, the right set of goals put in front of them, right? And so that's something I always took to heart with anyone I worked with any of my teams, with any of my trade partners. That hey, here's the goal, here's what you need to achieve it. Let me support you, but I'm going to let you do your thing, right? And let me help. Help me help you. And that's the one thing I think GOBA's great at, right? It's a collective. It's not just one individual or one builder or one trade partner. We all are able to collectively circle together, group together, be in union and help tackle these issues, whether it's workforce or it's zoning or municipality or approvals, or it's just raising money to help children, right? But there's just this greater collective. It feels great being a part of an organization of this size and of this substance and of this significance, and being able to help where I can. Obviously, I think there's a multiplier factor within this organization where it remunerates much greater than what we even realize, and the influence that we have. not just here in Orlando, but I think across the state and really across the country. It's, I've had the privilege of serving as president and sitting in rooms with other presidents of other home builder associations, and I know it's not just me. I know it's not me, but when GOBA speaks and we give our reports, they stop, they listen, they take notes, they ask questions. I was the last guy out of the door in most of those situations, and I know Chastity is too, because they're asking, well, hey, how'd you do this? Or who'd you reach out to do this? So I think we are leading the way in the industry from a HBA perspective. But I think that's a result that may have been unintended. Our intention was really to really to come together as an organization and tackle the issues that are at hand. And we've done such a great job at that I think we've become exemplary as far as an HBA goes. So it's meant the world to me to be a part of that.
Great, and it really is a testament of all the like mind, all the business professionals that sit into the boardroom, once a month, going into the issues, the dialogue, and the different perspectives that you see. And really, it's a passion of mine just to be able to lead all of those, individuals and their, what they see the future, not only just for today, what GOBA is today, but for the future. And that's why we're raising the funds. That's why we're all here, just to be a part of something bigger, and our careers are very special to us, and home building is, obviously very special to you.
Yep, it's something I'll say is really interesting is, I went to school for business, but I actually got a minor in coaching. My grandfather, my brother, my stepfather all coached high school, college levels, and so I have a passion in coaching, and that. I coach my son's baseball team. I've coached other teams. And the one thing that really impresses upon me, and this is a kudos to you, is how well you navigate, handle, lead, manage all these different. You're talking about business owners, principals of companies, presidents. All of these people, all of our members, very established, very intelligent, very opinionated. And all of this conglomerate of, it's like a room of superheroes when we go into a board meeting. All these people doing all these great things, and you're like the Pat Riley of HBAs, where you figured out how to stroke or subdue or just kind of rein it all in, all these sort of different ideas and thoughts, and focus it towards sort of one target, one goal. And every time it never ceases to amaze me. You got engineers in the room, division presidents, business owners. You've got all these guys, and they're the ones calling the shots as soon as they walk out of the room. And you've done an amazing job. I think getting us all on the same page and all focused, on the things that are important.
I wasn't supposed to be blushing right now, but I am. That really, honestly.
The Pat Riley of HBA.
Yeah,
that's
wow, Pat Riley of HBA. Did everybody hear that out there?
I said Pat Riley is, he's a little bit better looking than Bill Belichick. I don't want to go Belichick.
Either way, that is absolutely. I really take that to heart, and it really, for me personally, is just having, the division presidents put all their trust in me really just gives me a sense of responsibility, and that's what I'm here to do. And so, and that's also probably why I asked you to be on here, because I knew you were going to say something like that. No, I'm just kidding.
I won't spill any dirt. How I got into GOBA, which you brought up, and I've said this before, and this spiel, but I showed up for the party.
Yeah.
I showed up for the golf events. I showed up for the young professionals events, and then one thing led to another, and really I think the issues, the topics, and the work really got a hold of me, and I stayed for the work. I think I stayed for the goals. I think I stayed for the mission, and make a lot less of the fun things, but make it a priority to make it to the important things. And that's what really, where you really, kind of drew me in and have kept me engaged, is just all the great work that's done through this organization. And you said it, all the division presidents, all the builders that aren't even necessarily members, you need to join. And all the trade partners look to you, look to GOBA as a resource for information, for guidance, and for information. The information part's amazing because half the time some of this information that we're getting a hold of early and already in front of, they're not hearing about unless they hear it from us.
Right. And so Thad, I can't thank you enough, obviously, for your leadership, your guidance. I think the world of you, and I also call you a friend. And so you're always just a text message away whenever I need some help or, some to put out any fires, right? Lord knows we have lots of fires. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chess.
All righty. So with that, thank you for staying on this incredible topic here with Thad Lynch, who's now a roofer. So you probably want to get to know that a little bit more.
I got you covered.
There you go. So thank you so much for being a part of the next, for this series of GOBA Blueprint. We're going to have another one coming out to you soon with a different topic, different speaker, bringing you some insight, some information. So with that, keep calm, build Orlando, and keep building the American dream of home ownership. We'll see you next time.